Hi everybody. Today we're here to answer the caregiving question, why can't I convince mom or dad or a spouse to do what I think or to do what the doctor thinks is good for them from a health perspective or maybe just a daily life perspective? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. My website is pameladwilson.com. On there is a lot of helpful information for caregivers and aging adults. I want to talk today about a broad concept, and this concept is called social context. And this is one of the reasons that it can be difficult to understand why people do what they do or why they don't do what they do. So let's put this in the context of the idea of change and caregiving and maybe talking to an elderly parent about something that we think they should do or the doctor thinks they should do. The way that we as an individual interpret communication coming at us, so the way that you talk to an elderly parent or the way that a doctor or a health provider talks to an elderly parent or really anyone, part of that is what the person says, but the bigger part is what we as that individual understand is being said to us. It's how we interpret the information. It's whether we think that that information is valid or even important at all. We may think it's a bunch of bunk. And then the next thought is, do we think that we can do what this person is asking us to do? This varies by the way that we were raised. It varies by the country that we live in, by the culture that we were brought up in, and the understanding of how we perceive that information. So let me give you an example. Let's say that someone goes into the hospital and they have an operation, and they understand the reason for the operation. So let's say that someone has cancer and they go in to have surgery, and the idea is having the cancer removed. After the surgery, they're given a bunch of instructions and maybe some medication to take, and that's it. The person goes home. The person still doesn't feel great. They feel like they're taking a lot of medications, too many in fact, and they don't feel like the medications are doing anything. So instead of calling the doctor to say, hey doctor, I'm thinking about not taking these medications. Is that okay? What should happen? What might be the effects? The person doesn't do that because they don't feel a connection to that doctor, or they don't feel that it's that important. And they think that, well, I had the surgery, so cancer must be gone. Everything should be taken care of. So this person stops taking that medication. And in time, they become worse. The cancer comes back. So where was that gap between the health provider discussing the importance of continuing to take that medication and the person over here thinking that they had enough knowledge to say, taking this medication isn't important. I don't need to take it. I shouldn't do it. I'm just going to stop without asking anybody. This is how gaps in communication happen, and it's the social context of the way that information is provided and information is received. It's also part of the routines and habits that we as individuals have and the way that we think about things. We all, admit it or not, like it or not, have a bias, and we have a way that we think things work out or that we expect things to work out, mostly based on the past experiences of our lives. What does that mean? Let's say that you're at work and you have a meeting with somebody and someone says, oh, okay, I will take care of that project, but I'm thinking about, maybe doing it a little differently. Let me bring it to you and I'll see what you think. So person goes away, comes back, and you have a meeting, and the person presents information and it's really different than what you expected. It's really different than what you thought. And admittedly, before they presented the information, your thoughts were, oh, it's going to be the same old thing, same old idea. We've always done it this way. Same stuff, nothing different. But much to your surprise, it's very different. It's something that may actually solve a problem in the workplace, or that could solve a problem in your home life or in your caregiving life. The idea of getting people to do things and achieving results in any area of life, caregiving work, it doesn't matter what it is, personal relationships. A lot of that depends on our past history, our abilities, and what we think we can achieve. Things can really change when you meet someone who sees the world differently or who thinks differently and is able to communicate that to you so that you're willing to believe or to think that you can do things that maybe once weren't possible, or you can do things that you didn't think that you could do. Here's one more simple example. A young adult lives in an area and in a society where not a lot of people have gone to college. The person's thinking, oh, I'd love to go to college. I would love to learn more. I love education. But everybody in their hometown or in the family is saying, oh, education, that's for smart people. That's for people who, want to be bigger than us, or want to be greater than us, or want to be different than us. The question is, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with wanting to be better, or even a little different, or improve your situation? Are you in a situation today where others are holding you back? Where others are saying, you can't do that? Where others want you to stay where they are because it's comfortable? I never recommend that. But it can be difficult, like it was for this individual, to say, I understand how you all feel, but I want to go to college. I want to better my situation. I want to better my life. And the risks that that person saw was, well, these people may not like me anymore. They may not want to be my friends anymore if I change. If I leave this comfortable situation, my life could change significantly. And I'm a little afraid of that, but I'm willing to take the risk. So think about what we talked about today in the idea of things that you might want to do to change your life or your health, and ways that you are talking about people in your life about change, because they may not think about change the same way that you do. And until we really understand why someone else wants to do something or doesn't want to do it, we can't move anything forward in any part of life. I'm Pamela D. Wilson. My website is PamelaDWilson.com. A lot of helpful information there for caregivers and aging adults. I help caregivers and aging adults think differently about caregiving. There are online courses on my website. My radio show is there, and a lot of other helpful information. Thanks for staying with me for this video. I hope to see you again. And please share my website with others. It's PamelaDWilson.com.